Someone you love relies on home care, then you know the challenges. It can be very hard to find an attendant, and it can be hard to manage needs and schedules. So now an innovative program in Ontario called Direct Funding is changing that by putting the client in charge. We met up with one woman in Toronto and her attendant to learn more about how it works.
And I want to get them some chocolate milk.
Audrey King is retired, but she sure hasn't slowed down. She credits this to the direct funding home care program offered by the Ontario government and coordinated by Toronto's Centre for Independent Living. It allows people with physical disabilities to hire and manage their own personal attendance and care.
The main thing about direct funding is that it gives the person choice, freedom, and control. And by choice, I mean you hire your own attendants, you train them, you direct them according to what you need. I think what's great about it is that there's no people involved in the middle. The relationship is between you and the worker. And you're the employer, they're the employee.
Audrey had polio and hasn't been able to use her arms or legs since she was a child. She says her attendant, Giovanna Simeon, helped her live a life with the flexibility and freedom she needs.
Well, if I'm at a meeting downtown, and I know I'm going to be there all day, and I maybe perhaps need some help with the washroom, then I can work out with Giovanna that she comes down and she helps me there. Whereas with other programs, they're usually locked into a certain period of time and usually always just in your house.
They work well together.
I think it's a bit like a marriage sometimes.
My relationship with Audrey, when I just start with her, I like to work with her. She knows me, who I am. I'm a very clean person. That's my skill.
Big time.
Since Audrey is the employer, she conducted interviews for the job.
But I usually, I come with the list of what I need. I describe a typical day. I make it very clear that I'm not looking for a companion, which sometimes confuses people. And the other thing I try to explain is that it's my arms and legs that stop me from doing all the ordinary things that a person would do in a day, like dressing and getting your meals and shopping and this and that. So essentially, I'm looking for somebody who can kind of be my arms and legs, but not my head. So that can be confusing too, because that means I'm looking for somebody who doesn't mind taking direction.
It has been important for Audrey to be comfortable with her attendant.
And there was one situation even when I had been very ill. I still had my attendants who were supporting me, but at that time I also had a nurse who was provided by a local agency, and I was having trouble breathing, and the nurse kept saying I was just anxious. The attendant picked up the phone, dialed 911, and got me to the hospital, and my airway was blocked. Now, I'm not putting down professional, but in that particular instance, if it hadn't been my attendant, who knew me very well, at that point, I needed suctioning and all kinds of things. And the attendant knew how to do that. She'd learned how to do that from the staff at the hospital. So, I just think it's indispensable.
The Ontario government is expanding its support of the direct funding program. The goal is to have more than 1,000 people enrolled by next year.
I think there are a lot of people who don't know about it. I think in the public's mind, they're very knowledgeable about caregivers, personal support workers, people who come to your home and support elderly people. But as I said before, the beauty of this program is that a person can organize it themselves, do it themselves, find their own people, and there are not all those layers in the middle.
After 5 years, it's clear Audrey and Giovanna are a good fit.
I think that tells you something about whether or not a relationship works well or not.
But she never tell me that she appreciate what I do, but I think she appreciates.
She would like that every day for me to tell her that.
So this isn't just in Ontario. There are other programs like this right across the country. For more information on the direct funding program, you can head to our website, yourmorning.ca.